This episode contains mature language and situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Descent into hell.
Countless times he's watched Terry's brain slide down the walls. He doesn't even wince at the sound of the gunfire now.
Mind if I join you? I brought popcorn.
Feel free.
It's a shame it was such a quick one, huh? Not like burning to death.
Satisfying enough, though. He's in there somewhere, every reset, unable to snap the cycle. They sit in silence, watching the process repeat, James squirming as the shotgun finally explodes in violence.
Christ! How can you bear it?
You get used to it.
I suppose you've heard.
Patricia's starting tomorrow. Yeah. Have you given any more?
I just came to say goodbye. And to say thanks for being my friend. It's more than I deserve.
Who's to say what any of us deserves, James? There's still time. Maybe if we...
Enough, John. What about you, anyway? Thought you had a plan. Cutting it fine, aren't you?
Luck seems plentiful when you don't depend on it. I've enjoyed this friendship, James. Genuinely. And I'm truly sorry for your hardship, for what you have to live with. I'm sorry for your family and theirs. The thing is, I've spent my whole life feeling sorry. For myself, for others, and it didn't get me anywhere. The weak are preyed upon. They sit in silence, waiting for the blast. James lets out a shudder while John sits with his eyes closed, not even a shift in his heart rate at the gun's thunderous roar. I suppose you'll be wanting your hat back?
No, you keep it. It suits you better anyway. Matches the tone of your leathery and puckered skin.
John stands and flicks the brim. Well, it's time, I guess. Do or die. Again and again and again.
Good luck, my friend.
Hang loose. Back at his desk, John spins the mirror around, excited to check in on his children. A smile creeps across his face as he studies them, huddled in a group. Katie's jarring laughter occasionally puncturing the soft chatter. Rebecca is holding her hand, being mother to the group, just like he knew she would. Like Olivia would. Olivia. There's a pang of guilt, but melancholy drains him, saps his reach. "Father!" Eric announces. All eyes are on him now, projecting an array of emotions. Respect, hate, bemusement. But they'll learn to love. Once the bond is formed, they'll let go of their past and embrace a future with their new father. No more fear. John nods and smiles with pride. It's nearly time. Rebecca releases Katie's hand and stands, face all twisted up. With a flick of the mirror, John begins the final part of his plan. They have to give me a golden ticket for this. They just have to. The hat isn't quite right. Its curvature is off. But as Jake lightly adds shading to the eyes, the face is coming together nicely. Wide, smiling mouth, revealing an unnaturally large void. Wisps of brown hair that spill from either side of the hat. Round chin, raw and creased skin, and eyes as yellow as the sun that project warmth, but also a contrasting nothingness. Yes, it's perfectly horrific. He tears the page from the sketch pad and studies it closely, finishing the dregs of orange juice. The glass shakes in his hand, and the hairs bristle on the back of his neck.
Hurry up, Jake! We're leaving for church in 20
His mom's holler from downstairs does nothing to calm his nerves. It's everywhere. The fear, running rife through their town, and it's getting worse. The fires, the murders, the distrust. With 4 small pieces of tape, he fixes the sketch to the wall. He's drawn them a few times of late, hoping it might help ease the fear for when, if he arrives for real. A bad dream? It's possible, he supposes. Such a sustained level of fear is bound to produce some paranoia. How relieved he would be to find out they were only nightmares after all. The sketch. It moved just then. He's sure of it. Did it, though? He holds his breath and clenches his fists. A bead of sweat runs down his right cheek as he stares intently into those yellow eyes. Please leave me alone. The ever-present knot in his stomach twists as he takes a step back, maintaining his stare at the scorched face, heart thumping, and praying it's just his mind playing tricks.
Don't forget your Bible!
His mom again. He opens his mouth, but only a grunt emerges. That's the only answer to the mayhem. Church. Proud atheists, now God-fearing folk, praying before every meal and every sleep, and each time they're forced to venture outdoors. It's busier than ever at Sunday service these days. A newfound affinity to the Lord. You can see it in their eyes, the desperate hope of immunity. But Jake doesn't think this town falls under God's territory. Hasn't for some time, he reckons. He takes another step backwards, feeling the bed against the back of his legs. It's all over the TV every night. There's no escape. Where can people go? They can't move away, can't afford to. And who would want to put themselves in the middle of all this carnage? And the heat. The goddamn heat. The mattress squeaks as he lowers himself down, eyes still fixed on the guy in the drawing, the one he knows to be the root of all the chaos. Jake knows because the man confessed to him. Call it a dream, a premonition, whatever you want. But his words carried such promise. We'll be a family, Jake. But you can't go to the police with a dream. He hasn't told his parents. What could they do anyway? And if he were taken, they'd end up feeling even worse, eaten by guilt, regardless that his fate was already sealed. Why me? There are always others with him, too. Children. He leads the way in the wide-brimmed hat and knee-length black cloak, and they follow faithfully in his shadow, their faces dominated by a wide chasm where their mouths should be, and those same startling yellow eyes. We'll be a family, Jake. The words have haunted him ever since. He gave both his parents an extra long embrace this morning. Had to prod himself with a fork through his pajama bottoms to stem the tears. There. It moved again. Jake swallows hard and takes a sharp intake of breath. It's as though someone is pressing it from the other side of the wall, trying to get out. Or in. But that kind of stuff only happens in books. Oh shit. The eyes now. Somehow projecting. Jake curls his fingers into the duvet and blinks hard, hoping the paper will be flat against the wall when he opens them. But it's beginning to tear. He can hear it, and the paper is giving way to impossible blackness where there should only be blue paint. Blood pounding in his ears, he forces a sharp and shaky gulp of air. The intake feels hot and dry, almost desert-like. Hell season, the TV reporters are calling it. Oh no. No, no, no! Shadows on shadows in the darkness. He opens his mouth to call for his mom, and this time only a rasp emerges. Something is coming out of the picture. The brim of the black hat slowly begins to unfurl, twisting and bending as it forces its way into reality, into Jake's world. There's another slight tear as it finally springs through. He wants to get up and run, but knows he hasn't the strength. The brim of the hat slowly lifts. Those unmistakable sun-like eyes fill Jake with a contrasting coldness, goosebumps prickling across his entire body. Impossibly, the man begins to contort his body through the rip. A leg, chest, and now an arm. He's almost through. His giant hands rip through the rest of the paper to create an even larger void where his bedroom wall should be.
Are you ready, Jake?
His heart pounds faster than ever before, his white knuckles continuing to clench the duvet. Warmth runs down his left thigh. He knew this moment was coming, but it feels so goddamn. The mouth opens, revealing an empty black void. It's time, Jake. Both thighs sing in pain as he pinches the flesh as hard as he can, but still, the man in the wide-brimmed hat stands in front of him. And the smile, it's getting bigger, stretching from one side of his face to the other. Jake feels the pull from the ever-increasing darkness between his lips, and those hypnotic yellow eyes are drawing him in. He feels himself standing, but not of his own free will. He tries to fight it, looking towards his bedroom door and willing his legs to move. But the man's hands snatch around his shoulders with immense speed, twisting him around. They're face to face. Jake can't help but fix on the two yellow eyes. But now they're changing, dulling down, becoming white. And he can see other faces appearing within. They stare back at him, all with the same black smile and twinkling yellow orbs for eyes. An accompanying fizzing is getting louder, and the orbs are starting to oscillate wildly. Bolts of charge spark between them with ever-increasing intensity. The blast is deafening, the explosion of white light blinding. Ears ringing, he follows the black floaters that fill his vision, watching as they begin to seep into his skin, working their blackness through his arms and legs. He can feel them in his head now, wrapping around his brain. He opens his mouth to call for his mom, but can't even recall what she looks like. The memory of her is fading, her face becoming a blur.
Your new family is waiting for you, Jake.
The pull is too strong, the mouth impossibly large, and melted skin becomes a thin wrapper as blackness bleeds through. Jake feels his body inching forwards, but he's helpless, at its mercy as he continues to be sucked towards the black hole that now extends beyond the man's face. Swirling around them, fluttering and whipping about Jake's head, the man's black cloak begins to merge into the vortex of opaque darkness, creating an even larger void. He extends his arms in defense, but blackness swallows them to the elbow. He sees his feet move, but it feels more like he's floating now, up to his face. He knows this is it, that he's leaving this world. As his face plunges into the darkness, his body stiffens with unease and fear and absolute silence. Pitch black. There are voices in his head. The others. He knows it's them. The first one steps out from the darkness, and then the next. He's disoriented, confused. "Welcome to the family." It's a boy's voice. A hand extends towards him. Jake tries to speak, but it's all too much. "Take your time," the boy says. "It's a bit of a shock at first."
Understatement of the year.
A girl's voice this time, and from somewhere close by there's a snort of laughter. "Where am I? Sort of in a middle world type situation? Long story. And I mean long. Wait, it's you. I recognize you from the TV. You're the boy that stabbed all those people. Eric, isn't it? Father doesn't like us using our old names. Says we'd do well to forget our pasts. And strictly speaking, that wasn't really me." Two more faces emerge from the darkness, one of them offering another loud snort of laughter. On the verge of tears, Jake does his best to hold it together, unable to recall the face of his parents that will no doubt break when they realize he's gone. He takes in his new surroundings, but all that awaits is an expanse of darkness, nothingness. He bites down hard on his lip. "It's okay. I was scared too," the boy once called Eric says, before pulling Jake in and embracing him. The girl they used to call Rebecca joins in, as does the one they called Katie. It's a beautiful sight. 2 boys, 2 girls. It's what he always wanted. And to see them offering their love so freely warms his blackened heart. He too has so much love to give, but the old world only seems to favor the currency of hate. And to steal Olivia like that, and then put him through such an ordeal, would test any man's capacity. This will be a fresh start. Nothing left to chance. Only Rebecca resists. But once the circle is formed, love will shine through. Everyone is looking for unwavering love, searching for a place they belong, and once found, they'll do anything to hold on to that. Focus. John places his hand over the mirror and closes his eyes. He feels himself sinking into the mirror, disappearing into oblivion. He gives it a final spin on the way through. Circle, place. John commands, extending his arms as he emerges from the darkness.
I won't do it. Whatever you are going to do, I won't be a part of it.
The one they called Rebecca cries. Take my hand, and it'll all become clear. You won't have to do anything you don't want to. I promise. Eric joins out of duty, Jake from fear, and Katie because it looks like fun.
Please, 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 Wing of Roses! This is all a bad dream. It has to be.
Reluctantly, the one they called Rebecca falls in line and completes the ring, an instinctive need to ensure the safety of her friends. It's a silent explosion, violence contained within the mind. Adrenaline feeds through each of the children, causing hairs to stand on end and their skin to sing, an audible fizzing, as though it's on fire. Scenes from their pasts conduct through the circuitry, the lows and highs, the laughter and tears, and John is consuming them all, harnessing the hate and feeding it back into the group together with his love, skewing their view of the world they once belonged to, creating the divide. A factory reset. There's a surge of warmth running through Jake, a euphoric sensation that everything is going to be more than okay. His emptiness is quickly being replaced with an overwhelming sense of belonging. He looks across to Rebecca, who smiles and nods. Eric follows suit, and Katie offers her signature snort. This is his family now, where he belongs. He feels a gentle pressure developing behind his eyes. He expected to witness some explanation when he connected to the ring, a resolution that tied these people together, but all he feels is a compulsion to please the man they call father. Nothing else matters. There's another silent explosion, but one that creates an excruciating pain behind his eyes. Shimmering yellow fills his vision, but he can't turn away. He shudders, feeling the energy flowing through him, his heart pounding with adrenaline and excitement. Deep down, he knows he should be feeling sadness for something he used to be a part of, but he feels at one with these people, so diversified, yet a collective strength that is empowering and wholesome. For the first time in his life, he feels only happiness. The yellow orb in the center of the group begins to hiss, sparking like an angry ball of electricity as collective strength channels into it. He sees something materializing. A church. 2 adults are running towards it, one of them screaming and crying. A strange sensation washes over him as their faces come into view. The woman is grabbing people by the shoulders.
Jake! Have you seen my Jake?
The man follows meekly behind, eyes moist, shoulders slumped. For a moment, the happiness wanes, and he's lost, unsure of himself, unsure of anything. He looks to the group for support, and they nod and smile in unison.
We are
family. Their voices bounce in his head. And he's back. The yellow sphere continues to grow, as does the union with his new family. Strong, united, unstoppable. This is where he belongs. The doors of the church slam shut with a thunderous finality. In the middle of the group, the yellow ball crackles aggressively around the building, sending a flurry of sparks showering towards the east section. It sets alight impossibly quickly and begins to spread its havoc, bringing the first screams of panic from within. Each person in the group squeezes their hands more tightly together, basking in the warmth, embracing the love that flows between them, memories of the past all but gone. As Jake and his new family watch the flames fight over themselves to get to those on the outside of the group, more cries emerge, but ones filled with urgency and desperation. An older man and woman embrace each other as they sit on the back pew, a resignation to fate. Further along, a woman is crying into a man's shoulder. A baby lies across both of their legs, oblivious to the approaching end of its short life. People are trampling over each other in desperation to find an escape, throwing themselves against the heavy wooden doors and climbing on top of each other to reach the stained glass windows depicting holier scenes. Screaming gives way to coughing, and as the fire takes hold, Jake observes some of the mortals kneeling and praying in front of their god. But there's no sign of their god. Perhaps he's given up on the old world too. Next to Jake, Father is humming with pleasure, a gentle and soothing sound that they all begin to copy. They stand together, watching the orange flames engulf the building, and as the screams begin to subside, they begin to laugh, which turns into a cackle, which turns into a snort. Don't run, Olivia. It's slippery near the edge.
I'm fine, Father. Relax.
She giggles and dives into the rippling turquoise to join the others. He watches them play, soaking up the laughter, the infectiousness of it all prompting a smile that spreads across his face.
Here you go. Nice and cold, just like the doctor ordered.
John takes the beer and rolls it over his dry and crinkled forehead. One of the few things that place was good for.
I wanted to say thanks again for what you've done.
He takes the seat next to John, joining him in watching the children splash and guffaw.
It's more than I deserve.
It's a fresh start for all of us, James.
Look, Father.
Very clever, Olivia.
I still can't believe they gave you a ticket and allowed you to bring me along, too. You disregarded all the rules and still came out smelling like burnt roses.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can do good all your life and end up the butt of a series of bad jokes, but burn a church down and you're given the big prize.
Did you know that Patricia had a penchant for fire?
Only rumors from the coffee room. According to them, she drugged her husband, waited until he was asleep, soaked the bed sheets in gasoline, and sat next to him, puffing on her very last cigarette. All because he smiled at the young lady next door.
Jesus Christ. That bit much.
Yeah, but get this. When the police searched the house, they found the woman's head in Patricia's fridge.
No way.
Yep. All rumors, though. No smoke without fire is what I always say.
Jeez. I guess it worked out well, though. Just look at this place. You have everything that... Ah, shit. Shit. You idiot, James. I'm so sorry.
John waves his hand to dismiss the apology.
Do you think it's healthy calling her Olivia?
John begins to laugh, an uncontrollable and tear-inducing guffaw. healthy? He inhales mouthfuls of hot air, trying to gain back some control. I think that's all relative, James. I'm dead, enjoying a beer at my condo located on the outskirts of hell after just burning a church full of people down. I mean, come on, you have to laugh. James smiles and nods his head.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's fine. And I'm fine. She's still in there, James. He pats his chest. Always will be. And the memories burn as much as the fire did. Sometimes I consider letting them go, throwing them into the void so they no longer hurt. But they're also a reminder of how much that world took from me.
Yeah.
The doorbell rings, prompting both their heads to turn.
I'll get it!
They're just so alike, James. So strong. He lifts his beer towards his friend. Cheers to the future, anyway. They knock their drinks together and take a generous sip.
What now?
Nothing. We relax. We wait.
I'm still scared, John. They're going to find me out. I know it. Realize I'm not cut out for evil.
John takes in another mouthful of beer. It's already warm, but doesn't tarnish the sweet taste of revenge on a place that did everything it could to bring him to his knees. I like you, James. You're a good friend, and I'm glad you're here with me. But this needs to be said. He swivels his chair around and puts a hand on his friend's shoulder. You killed your family, James. You crept into their rooms while they were sleeping peacefully and held a pillow over their heads. Even as they began to wake, their muffled pleas echoing in your head. Even as your tears soaked the linen of their pillows, you carried on, taking everything from them in a moment of self-pity. If that isn't evil, I don't know what is. So can you do me a favor and stop pretending that your shit doesn't smell? Is that fair?
He's here! It's him!
Descent into Hell, Part 5, Father's Day, written by Mark Towse, with performances by Graham Rowat, Sarah Ruth Thomas, and me, Jason Wilson. Musical composition was by J.M. Scherf. Episode artwork, web development, and creative direction by Cassie Pertit. Social media and Patreon management by Brooks Bigley. Videography by Hale Scherf. Audio engineering and sound design was by me, Jason Wilson. There you go. For you, our patrons. We always want to take the extra time to thank you, because that's for you. And we also want to take the time to thank any of those who have left us a 5-star rating and a review. Those reviews keep us at the top of the charts and makes it easier for more twisted souls to find the show. And The Grey Rooms is also streaming for free on Spotify. Just get the Spotify app or open the browser and search The Grey Rooms. And you know, we here at The Grey Rooms love our fans, and we want to give back to you in the best way we know how. But we have lots of fun things coming up, and we really can't wait to show them to you, and we desperately hope that you like them. You can find out more by joining us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, and Facebook. And we took your advice and extended an olive branch to all of the tortured souls who have passed through the rooms. Our emotional support group is always looking to help you with all of your needs. And let's not forget about our merch store. It's full of epic designs and logos for you to sport, showing the world you are a survivor of these very rooms. All of this can be found in the show notes or on our website, thegrayrooms.com. We've been seeing some activity on the Discord channel recently. Thank you. We're really happy to have all of the new faces, and we absolutely love all of those who have been with us for a while. If you have yet to join the Discord channel, I have been telling you every day, this past week. You're missing out. So I'm not going to tell you too much more other than you're missing out. I do hope that you had the opportunity to enjoy this miniseries. Expect more to come in the future. This was an absolute blast to work with such a talented author in Mark Towse. And it was also an absolute blast to work with the Grey Rooms team and doing something just a hair different. And we truly do hope that you liked what we were able to put out for you. You could jump in our Discord channel again. Ooh, you like how I circled back there, huh? And have a conversation about the miniseries with patrons, team members, voice talent, authors. Yeah, anybody and everybody that's associated with the Grey Rooms is in there, and it's a very active community. So if you haven't joined today, get on it. That concludes this miniseries. We have a lot more coming up. We have a Bane episode coming here soon for the patrons, and our Halloween episode is right around the corner. So we need to get back to work because there's still plenty to do for the season. So till then, we'll see you next time. Bye.